Mentioned Ohio State, of course, the annual finale against Michigan. We are quickly going to send you to Ann Arbor as Jim Harbaugh has begun his weekly press conference.
Temperament, Jordan Glasgow got Special Teams Player of the Week, if I'm not mistaken, for you guys a couple weeks ago.
Yes, they're brothers. Similar, very similar, yeah.
In terms of their
similar parents.
and their with their coaching team, is there similarity?
Yeah, all three brothers are really smart guys, good teammates, good football players. Breed them well in the Glasgow family.
You guys had the knee braces on, the offensive lineman. Did you guys have a talk about that after Grant got injured, or what led to that?
Yeah. No longer optional. All linemen are wearing knee braces.
What is Grant's status now? Is he out of the hospital, and what's the prognosis at this stage?
There's been good progress, and he still hasn't. He still has more surgeries to go.
Without specifics, you talk about your recruiting trips and how you got involved with the chain gang and the homecoming court announcement.
Was asked to announce the winner of the homecoming game, and Tatiana Mendez was the winner. It was great to be part of the activity. And then the chain gang, they needed a guy, and was promised a tri-tip steak sandwich at halftime, and that was all I needed to hear. It was a lot of fun.
You assess the play of Kalis and what he brings you on the right side of the line.
Yeah, he's really. I think somebody asked last week, how's his intensity? I mean, it's what he does. That's his forte. I mean, he's kind of brings our whole offense, great amount of intensity, and good physical play. The strength, the lost art of toughness in football, and also the valuable talent that is toughness and strength. Yeah, it's a respected quality.
Coach in the middle, Adam.
Jim, I know that you talk about everybody, the effort, and you don't ever put anybody above anyone else, but do you feel like Mike might be kind of an unsung guy on the team, Mike McCray?
Mike McCray's doing an outstanding job. And I just speak the truth up here, People deserve a pat on the back. I put them ahead of people, give them pat harder to some guys than others. I don't know where you're going with that, Adam, but Mike McCray, let's talk about Mike. He's having a tremendous year. He's really been a consistently good performer, ascending player. He's gets his job done. Very good leader on the field, but just consistently good. Day in and day out. Not a lot of fanfare, never any drama. And he's just a good football player.
What did you notice most about him just in the past years, as far as he's kind of a backup role? He's kind of moving to the forefront. What did you notice in the past year about him?
Yeah, well, he wasn't healthy our first year here, and he has been. He's worked very hard to have his strength in the. At the right level. He's overcome shoulder injuries, and tough as they come, you never hear a word of complaint or never a whine. WHINE. Athleticism is extremely good. Plus, he's physical, and he he can athletically play outside of the box. He can physically play within the box. He's been good in pass coverage. Yeah, he's been, and his instincts are real good as an inside backer, which is one of the most important tools.
Should follow up about the Glasgow brothers. They go from walk-on to NFL starter to all-conference defensive lineman type guy. Were they underrated, or do they just improve so steadily that they make those jumps?
Yeah, I would. I wasn't here when they were being recruited, but yeah, underrated. Obviously.
So were they as good as they are? Were they the products they are now when you first met them, or have they improved steadily in the 2 years you've known the Glasgow family?
No, they've been improving. Yeah, they it's very important to them that they're good. They you see the importance with the family of getting the best grades, winning awards, excelling at sports. You see them work at it, and you see them improve. Proven formula used by many, and all three of the Glasgow brothers.
Have you ever worked a chain gang before this weekend?
Yes. I've been called into duty a few other times as a parent.
Coach, 12% conversion rate on third downs by opponents in the first half of the year. What goes into that level of efficiency by the defense in that situation?
Good team defense, good scheme, but it takes all 11 playing well together. I see the stopping the run on the third and short yardage situations, pass rush, tackling, not allowing yards after contact on shorter passes underneath the sticks, defending deeper balls, medium range balls. It's a combination of really good coverage on the back end, pressure up front, and a very good stout run defense.
Right, Nick. Jim, do you guys expect Drake Johnson to play this year? Is he close?
Yeah, I do.
And then I got one more. Did you watch any games on Saturday, college games?
I watched a few, yeah.
Which ones did you watch? Care to share?
Watched San Jose State and Nevada, and watched Ohio State and Wisconsin.
Larry? Does it do anything for you that Michigan is ranked higher than they've been in a decade, and how do you keep Freddie Peace off the guy's shoulders?
We're just going to work and not worry.
Jim, after the Rutgers game, when you were talking about Jabril and the Heisman, why do you think it's so difficult historically for primarily defensive players to get it?
I don't know.
Jim, obviously in the NFL you saw Lovie Smith's teams and kind of how they played. Are there any distinctive traits that you see with Illinois that he's brought there in terms of scouting them and everything?
Still working through that.
In the back, Matt.
Jim, you said something interesting about Kyle Kalis. You said the lost art of intensity in football. Why do you think that is? When do you think that changed, and why do you think there is a lost art in the sport that you love?
I don't know.
Right up to the neck on the right.
Jim, Jordan's been back for a couple games now. Lewis, has he, we talked to him in the first game back. He said he felt a little rusty. It doesn't seem like he's been rusty. What's your read on how Jordan's been after sitting out the first three?
He's been outstanding. Athletically, technically, physically, tensely. All things are good. All things are real good with Jordan. Playing at a very high level.
Jim, this is going to be your first meeting with Lovie Smith as college coaches, not in the NFL. What do you remember about those meetings in the NFL, and what stands out about Lovie as a coach?
I don't remember any meetings we had in the NFL. Great coach, outstanding person. Don't know him real well, but know a lot of people that do, and everybody speaks very highly of him. And our interactions have been pleasant and good. And so you know, our task is prepare to play their team, and you know, it'd be a challenge, big game, championship type football game for our team, and it's our duty to get prepared for it.
You assess Ben Gideon's play through the first half of the season?
Yeah, rock solid. Ben Gideon's been a shining star. Physically has made tackles that changed momentum. Been tough as nails. Been rock solid. Same as Mike McCray. Both those guys have really played well inside for our defense. Plays with great instinct, great toughness, and athletic. I've really always looked at Ben as our most athletic linebacker, and I think him and Mike both are at that high athletic level, but also they can come up and burp a guard and shed, make tackles. Very physical in the way he plays. He's been outstanding.
Middle, Adam.
Jim. Right here.
Adam.
Any word? Is it still open competition with Kenny and Tice for field goals? Has that kind of been ongoing? Have you decided that yet?
Yes.
What is your decision?
Competition, ongoing at all times, all positions.
You get Larry.
Just consider that always happening.
You get Larry ready for this week as well.
Larry who?
Larry Prout. Your new team.
Oh, yeah.
Your new team member.
Mm-hmm. Good man. Isn't he great? Larry is a good guy. Hope he comes this week. Good chance we get Larry for this ball game. Excited about that.
So you caught the Ohio State game this weekend. Was that an important one for you to watch? Do you get anything out of watching them against a team that played to this point, and you keep tabs on the Buckeyes? You guys are doing well here.
Yeah. Good. Just watching it as a fan. Two good football teams.
Bobby Henderson's touchdown at Rutgers was a really popular one among his teammates. What does he bring to practices and just generally speaking?
Good teammate, good football player who's, everybody's watched work at it. Everybody's watched him, move up the depth chart, and it's just always great for morale when you see your teammates having success. You're always happy for the other guy's success, and guy that has been a good teammate, especially happy to see that.
Is that it? All right,
thanks.
Jim Harbaugh and Michigan back home this weekend against Illinois. Enjoying that bye week this past Saturday. Mentioned he watched San Jose State. That wasn't on my DVR this weekend. Then it's at Michigan State on the 29th November. Include home dates against Maryland and Indiana, road trips to Iowa, and of course on November 26th in Columbus. I think one of the more interesting aspects of that press conference was being asked about keeping Freddie P. soft, that imaginary creature, away from the shoulders of this team. We laugh, but in all seriousness, these are young men who are, in some cases, 18, 19 years old. They're being told how good they are. They had a full 2 weeks to hear how good they are in between games. You're back home against an overmatched opponent. Is this a legitimate concern for Michigan, the overconfidence issue?
I don't think so. I really don't. Some coaches, what you see is what you get. We talk about Paul Chryst all the time. I think with Jim Harbaugh, what we see is not really what we get. as far as a coach, and I think that he's keeping them very leveled, and he's challenging them. And I bet he said he watched the San Jose State game. Why? I would have liked to have that answer, that question. Why did you watch that? But I bet every one of his players watched the Wisconsin-Ohio State game.
Yeah, of course they did.
Yeah,
they probably watched Michigan State Northwestern, too.
Absolutely.
And enjoyed it.
Oh, for sure. But, no, Jim will have them ready to play. They're playing at home, and Illinois has done enough good things at different times during the season that you can obviously put together enough tape and you can make a case for offense, defense, special teams, things that you got to create a sense of urgency for. So they'll be ready to play. I'm not concerned about this one.
I think it was our friend Nicole Auerbach who I heard ask about Jabril Peppers and why defensive players don't win the Heisman. No primarily defensive players, since Charles Woodson, obviously Peppers trying to do that this year. Here's a teaser coming up in a bit on Big Ten football and beyond. We're going to ask about Jabril Peppers in the Heisman race. And spoiler alert, you legitimately believe that he has a chance to become the first primarily defensive player since Woodson to win the award.
Yeah, if I would have been asked that question that Jim was asked, I said, well, it's all about the statistics and the media and the attention, quarterbacks, running backs, you know, those type of guys. But from my standpoint, if you're watching this guy play, and I always pose this to you, Dave, if you're down at the playground and you get the first pick of any player in the country, for me, it would be hard not to take that guy, which spells Heisman.
I'd like to see those same plays be run against Ohio State. Okay, then we'll talk. I mean, against Rutgers, they didn't even need to play him against Rutgers. I mean, the game was out of hand, so I think he's a great player, but in all honesty, every team that you've coached, every team I've coached has a player that's capable of doing this. I believe it. Darrelle Revis, I used to put him at wide receiver when we were at Pitt, but I never put him in the game. My point...
But he could have played there.
Coach, trust me. You see this guy carrying the ball right there? Pitch Darrelle Revis the ball in his prime. He's going to do that. You know what I'm saying. Harbaugh likes the stage.
And Jim loves primarily, right? Primarily defensive. And I continue to say that because he's getting the attention not just for being a safety or for playing linebacker from time to time. He's getting it because of the kick returns, the punt returns, the play as a Wildcat quarterback, as a running back. You talk about all the attention quarterbacks get. You'd be hard-pressed to argue that there's any player in the Big Ten getting more attention, maybe nationally right now, than Jabril Peppers.
And I should say, I should say, when we had our preseason Heisman picks, I had Jabril on my list.
I don't remember
You
that.
did not. So now
I don't remember that.
Do we also need to bring up, wasn't that the same show where we did the Final Four?
Coach, the tape doesn't lie. No,
well?
we're talking about dark horse candidates.
He is getting lots of attention. It is a key. You have to have the media on your side. You have to be one of those can't-miss players. And whether you like or dislike Michigan, whether you think Peppers is getting too much attention or not, he's one of those guys that makes you want to turn on the TV.
And to your point, you're right. But if he does those same type of things in the season finale against Ohio State and the difference in winning that game, watch out. And he was not on your list.
I agree.
You're wrong.
Pull the tape out.
So we have heard from Ohio State and head coach Urban Meyer. We've heard from Michigan and head coach Jim Harbaugh. That's 2 of the 3 Big Ten unbeatens.